If you're a caregiver, you know that incontinence can be one of the biggest sources of daily stress. It's just a lot. But what if you could swap that anxiety for a real sense of control and confidence? Well, that's exactly what we're going to do. We're going to build a complete toolkit to help you manage this with grace, so let's get right into it.
First things first, I really want you to hear this. You are not alone in this, not by a long shot. Studies show that about half, 50% of all older adults experience some form of incontinence. So this isn't some unusual problem. It's a shared reality for millions of families. Just knowing that can be a huge first step. So our whole goal here is to help you make that shift from feeling stressed and overwhelmed to feeling confident and prepared. We're going to do that by putting together a toolkit that tackles everything: the health side, preserving dignity, and, just making your day-to-day life a whole lot easier.
To build that confidence, we have to start with a solid foundation, and that means understanding the why. This is about so much more than just cleaning up accidents. It's about getting to the root of what's actually going on.
Okay, let's just bust a huge myth right now. Incontinence is not a normal, inevitable part of aging. It's almost always a symptom of something else, and often it's something totally treatable, like a urinary tract infection. That's why your first move, always, should be a visit to the doctor to get a real diagnosis. So once you've been to the doctor and ruled out any immediate medical issues, the next step is to become a bit of a detective with their diet. You would be absolutely amazed how many common foods and drinks, what we call bladder irritants, can make symptoms worse.
Look at some of these. A few are pretty surprising, right? I mean, even decaf coffee can be an issue, or things like tomatoes, because they can make urine more acidic or just stimulate the bladder. And it's such a tricky balance. Too much liquid is a problem, but so is too little. The best way to figure this out? Just experiment. Try taking out just one thing at a time for a week or so and see if you notice a difference.
All right, so we've talked about the internal stuff like diet. Now let's flip to the external, the home environment, because setting up your space proactively is all about stopping problems before they can even start.
Something as simple as a bathroom schedule can be an absolute game changer, especially if your loved one has dementia. A steady, consistent routine can actually help train the body. Just start with regular trips, maybe every hour or two, see what their natural rhythm is, and then stick with it. Seriously, this one change can cut down on accidents like you wouldn't believe.
Let's be real for a second. The cleanup is one of the most stressful parts. And that's why waterproofing furniture isn't just about saving the couch, it's about saving your sanity. You gotta think of it as your first line of defense against that stress.
The secret here is all about layering. Think of it like this. Start with a fabric protector spray as your base. Then, add a waterproof cover over that. And for the final layer, especially on their favorite chair, put down a big absorbent pad. With this system, a leak becomes a small, manageable thing, not a huge, frustrating cleanup.
And let's not forget about smells. Lingering odors can be really frustrating. Using a good, dedicated odor eliminator or even just an air purifier can make a world of difference in keeping the home feeling fresh and comfortable for everybody.
Okay, the environment is prepped and ready for success. Now, let's fill up our toolkit with some really practical, day-to-day strategies that make life easier, whether you're staying in or heading out.
Think about this for a second. When every single second counts, tricky clothing can literally be the difference between making it to the bathroom and having an accident. A simple switch like going from jeans with a button fly to pants with an elastic waistband can make a massive difference, both for getting there in time and for making cleanup so much easier.
Now, for a really specific challenge, if you're caring for someone with dementia who sometimes removes their clothes or briefs, there are some amazing specialized solutions. A back-zip jumpsuit, for example. It looks just like a normal outfit, but it's really tough to take off without help, which gives you both security and dignity.
Incontinence should never feel like a prison sentence, keeping you stuck at home. Preparation is your ticket to freedom. You just need a go-bag ready with these essentials. With extra briefs, some wipes, and a full change of clothes, and please, don't forget the socks, you can handle anything that comes your way without having to cut an outing short.
Okay, now we're at what might be the single most important part of this whole toolkit. We've covered all the practical stuff, but the emotional side, preserving your loved one's dignity, that is truly the heart of compassionate care.
An accident can trigger such intense feelings of shame and embarrassment. In that moment, your reaction is everything. A simple, calm phrase like this, it's incredibly powerful. It just normalizes what happened
and immediately changes the vibe from embarrassment to we're a team and we'll handle this together.
And sometimes a little bit of gentle, respectful humor can be the best medicine. Now, this is not about making fun of them, of course. It's about finding a little moment of light to break that tension. A kind smile and a simple, well, I guess this means we have an excuse to put on your favorite blue pants, can help you both just breathe. And finally, let's talk about your safety net. Because maybe the most important thing to remember on this entire journey is that you do not have to do this all by yourself.
You have to know your own limits. If the physical work and the emotional weight just become too much, asking for help is a sign of strength, not weakness. Whether that's bringing in an in-home caregiver a few hours a week or looking into a care community, getting support is truly the best thing you can do for your loved one and for yourself.
So much of what we've talked about really boils down to this one idea. Caregiving is a team sport. It just is. You need a good game plan, you need the right tools, and most of all, you need support. So I want you to take a moment and just ask yourself, who's on your team?